Okay, look, I have this. I keep trying to move, but I haven't shut the curtain enough and the sun's coming down. I can't get rid of this thing on my head. It's not bothering me, but when I look in the...
That's okay. It looks cute. You're kissed by the sun.
It's...
Sun kissed.
I know, I really worked on my cat eye today.
Yeah, she gonna say, she gonna say, yeah, she about a business, she not finna play with you. Yeah, she gonna say, she gonna say, yeah, she gon' make a move, and come back with two. Yeah, she gonna say, she gonna say, yeah, she one of a kind. She speak what she got on her mind. Yeah, she gonna say, she let her say, yeah, she gonna say, she gonna say, she gonna talk about it.
We're back, guys.
Part 2.
It might be
gonna say it.
It might be a few weeks for you, but it's only been 5 minutes for us. That's why we're still in the same outfit. As you can remember, we were talking about problematic relationships. Kanye and Kim, Jada and Will, Amber and Johnny,
Black China and all her baby daddies.
That's not even.
I know. We didn't address that. That was just some bullshit.
Yeah, I don't even have I blocked that one out just because it just seems so silly. Her posting pictures of herself with another man naked.
Exactly.
And, like, and then be mad because he posted pictures of her naked. Like,
stop.
It's all a money grab. It's all a money grab.
It is.
But as we were getting this.
You think the women are more?
If you go on these shows, so we're talking about these internet warrior relationship gurus, which I don't even know if they have. A lot of the people that you see, they'll say I'm a licensed family therapist, the LFT or whatever they're called. I don't know what credentials a lot of these people have. Their credentials is
going through the shit themselves. And coming up with an idea of what they think it is?
I have a lot of thoughts.
Okay.
I have a lot of thoughts. So you go through YouTube, these internet memes come up. And the most famous one that kind of got shattered is that Derrick Jaxn.
Oh, yeah.
So handsome guy, buff, memes of him. I make my honey dinner walking upstairs with his big old jacked arms and his grocery bags. And you're like, okay. And he's like, women, don't fall for this. This is what men will do. Like, this is why they're treating you like this.
Right.
And basically feeding women what they want to hear so they can buy their merchandise. Well, I don't know. It was a few years back.
I get that.
He got caught cheating.
Oh, I did see that.
I guess he got caught cheating by some Instagram influencer. I'm not quite sure. She basically busted him out with whatever evidence she had. And then he gets on a video with his wife, her sitting there.
Right.
And basically holding her hand, like, don't talk. And she's there. Like, she looks basically hypnotized.
Oh, no.
And basically, I did it. I shouldn't have done it. And all this stuff came out where they were she was separated from him anyway, and she decided to bring him back. And after the incident,
right?
I don't know, but he's still on the fucking internet giving people relationship advice.
I've been seeing that. I thought it was a rumor of all that. You know how people get that stuff going when he
admitted it,
but he did. I seen that.
And then everyone was clowning his wife because she looked like the militia. Remember, she had the beret on, and unfortunately was basically why is she with him? They don't even match. But that's neither here nor there. So I try to go through, watch these as painful as they were to watch.
I know they were.
It was. So the ones that I liked, there was a guy called Trip Advice, and he is basically giving advice to men on how to, and that's what I think it should be. I think the problem is when men are trying to speak to women and women are trying to speak to men, stay with your own sex, because men are from Mars and women are from Venus. So you're trying to give us advice and you really don't know how our mind works. You just assume you do. And I think a lot of these relationship gurus are a bunch of fuckboys that are trying to since now we have the whole internet and everyone's revealing everyone's game. They're trying to reel back it in.
Well, what about Steve Harvey? I think I like that he was talking to the women.
I don't think
like a man. He was telling us to think like a man.
I never read the book.
Okay, so that's great. Let's put a bookmark there. Maybe we'll revisit that and go back to that, and we'll add this to this. Yeah, the movie's nothing compared to the what he tells you in the book.
I think that
I think the movie was just more for entertainment.
Well, it was based on them reading the book.
Yeah.
But I think he's more, even though, actually, he's kind of grown on me throughout the years. I used to not be able to stand him. He really annoyed me. Just for no particular reason.
Right.
And now he's kind of growing on me a little bit.
Right.
So I think maybe because he's so famous and such a celebrity, and he has his talk show where he's talking about relationships. I think that people hold him like and then he has a marriage, which, and he talks about his problems or not problems in the marriage. So I think maybe he has a different platform than these guys.
These
YouTube gurus.
Okay, different platform. Okay. I just was curious about that because I like his advice. I think he gives excellent advice on relationships and the opposite sex and just having to think outside the box. And I think he's genuine about it. These guys are a little different. So I think you're right about the platform.
I mean, I think they're cavemen. They're trying to get women to go back to behaving the way they think that we should be, like back in the 60s. So they can go back and be a fuckboy that they always have been.
And continue that way. But you're going to be at home cooking and cleaning and being at my beck and call.
So we're going to tell you everything that's wrong with you. And what you're doing wrong. So, but like this Trip Advice guy, he does his advice to other men. So there was one in particular, and a lot of it, of course, you have to have like clickbait in order to get people to watch the video. So it said why you should ghost her. So I'm like, why should you ghost me?
Oh, let's find out.
But his reason was like really legitimate, and he's talking to the guy, and he's like, listen, if you get this girl's number and you text her and you ask her to go out and she makes an excuse or she cancels at the last minute, it's your third time she's doing the same thing.
Oh, third time, yeah.
But she's the type of girl that then later on is texting you in the middle of the night or texting you just to talk or whatever. Right. But she's never, he was like, ghost them. They're wasting your time. So that
not
makes
available
sense.
to get to know, but just want to be there when they're bored.
But then you have these guys like Derrick Jaxn. Well, he's a little different. This Kevin Samuel.
Oh, don't even say the name. Some of his stuff makes sense.
But it does make sense what he's saying in the beginning, but then you see the twisty.
Yeah,
that's how they get you. They get you like this, and then they hook you in to pull you back.
Because he starts talking about if you want a quality woman and you or a man, and then you have to be a certain quality as well. Which I get that, because you can't say you want a man who's got a 6-figure job. He has to have a car. He has to own his house. His credit score has to be this. Like, your shit has to be all that too. If you're saying that's what you want, you know. So I get his delivery on that being a strong 10, strong 5. Like, I totally get that. Like, your mother of 45, 5 kids, don't have no education, just work at Walmart. Like, you can't fucking say you want somebody to come take care of you because you're not bringing shit to the table.
I don't know. I guess it just seems like everyone that he brings onto the show, he's clowning him. He's like, what do you have to offer? You're 34. Basically, you're washed up. Basically, that's what he says it straight up. You're washed up. You're 34. What man wants a 34-year-old? Oh, you have kids?
I thought that was the prime age, right? Every old man in their 60s are getting a 35-year-old woman.
And then he says, oh, you have kids already? Deal breaker. No one wants to have
nobody wants to have nobody. Yeah,
well, that might be true, but that's not true in the real world.
No, it's not.
You know, I mean, it might be true. Maybe he doesn't, but it's going to be hard pressed to find. And then he'll be like, well, what are you? 1 out of 10. If you ain't even are you pushing a 6? You're not going to get a man.
Right.
And it's just like, have I just been lucky? Or because I know certainly I haven't been doing everything right according to what you're saying.
Well, according to what he's saying, there's men out there that are on those levels too. And that's what we're getting. So, and that's why we're complaining and pissed off, because you ain't shit. So you're getting those ain't shit ass men.
Perfect match.
Right? So that's why I say I get that part of it. Like, but I just don't like that when he asks the woman how she feels like she measures up, and then he chops them down. Like how you said, he just chops it. Nope. Like, don't ask me how I feel about myself and then tell me, no, you ain't shit. You know, you explain what your theory is. Because if he had just explained, like, hey, like you're saying this and that, you have to be that quality as well. And I believe that. I'm not going to ask for something that I can't give.
I think he's been saying, like, if you want this high power playing man and you have to be an 8.
Yeah, you got to be a high power playing ass bitch too.
Yeah, then you do agree with him then.
Yep, I agree with that. Like I said, it's just sometimes these deliveries are fucked up. It's their delivery. Like, I think hey, shit. Baby is a 10 all the way. But in reality, if I was out there in a dating game, 45, 4 children, you know, I have a job, a pension, a vehicle, but I don't own any property. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a business started. I'm working on that shit. So why am I going to say, oh, I want this. My man has to have this and he has to have this. And you're not going to find that shit. So that to me makes sense.
Women living in delusion.
Okay, maybe that's that. I think all these bitches live in delusion these days. They really do. They want these guys to do all this shit, but they don't want to do shit.
Well, I think they're gonna go on Instagram and grab a football player.
And then these young girls too. They don't know how to cook and clean and do their clothes. None of that shit. They don't even know how to wash their ass out half the time. So it's then these guys they get with them, and then they're just as bad because their mom and dads didn't teach them shit. Then that's where the toxic ass relationships.
And they don't know how to wipe their ass.
And they don't know how to wipe their ass either. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and that's one of my main things I've been putting into my children. Like, no, you got to be something in order to be able to try and get something from somebody else. You know what I mean? You can't be ain't shit and think you're going to get all this high quality. Somebody's going to take care of you. Nobody wants to come home to your ass laid up and ain't did shit all day.
But who decided someone making 6 figures, 7 figures is high quality?
No, for me, I don't need that. What my qualities that I'm asking for, they don't cost. That's something that's inside of you, you know. So, but I know that I can add to with other stuff, you know, with the monies. If you have that mind, you have that heart, you have that drive, like you can get everything else. You know what I mean?
It's just weird to me because I mean I'm not all that, but I've never had a problem getting a man. Maybe I know how to read signals.
Oh no, boo! You're a strong 9.5.
Hey,
you feel me?
Gotta take 20 pounds off. No.
Yeah, no, and that's realistic. You know, that's
no,
being being realistic because nobody's perfect. You know what I mean?
Nobody is perfect.
But if you really write it down and measure it up, you are. Mm-hmm. You have all that shit to
Next
offer.
Question. Mm-hmm. No, but I'm saying I've never had a problem necessarily getting a man. But if I like absolutely know I'm not getting signals from somebody, then why? Like, am I going to throw myself at him? And I think that might be one of the issues that a lot of these women are having is think this is the man they want. You're not reading the signals, honey. Like, they don't want you. Don't waste your time on
that.
Someone.
Goes into that saying the heart wants what it wants. Because, you know, the heart is strong. It's like, oh, that's the one. This is it. And then you're keep throwing and making hints and trying to get it. And it's like, no, but they don't give up. They still linger and back off and watch. You know, it's just because of.
And I do get what men are saying, like, hold yourself a certain way. Like, if you hold yourself a certain way, you're going to get a man that's going to treat you that way. So if you're walking around like twerking and looking like a hoe, I was watching this video the other day where it said something about like the strip club closed and these girls, it wasn't exactly that, but these girls are, first of all, it takes some strength to stand on your hands.
Oh yeah.
And twerk like that. Mm-hmm. You know what I was thinking when I watched that? I said, they do all this stuff. And I bet they lay missionary the whole
damn time.
Because number one, they're tired from doing all that shit.
Mm-hmm. Or frying chicken on the stove in a baking pan. You know, that type of shit. It's just, yeah.
Not everyone knows that.
I saw that on YouTube. 5 minutes later, there's a fire. The fire alarm's going off. Smoke's all like, why? What? That's the gravy. That's what you bake that turkey in for Thanksgiving. You don't put it on the stove and fry chicken in it. Okay.
Oh, you mean the actual oven pan?
Yes. It was the ones you buy at the disposable ones. She was frying chicken in there. Yes, on the damn stove. I was like, okay, you're killing me. But she was twerking the few minutes before, like, my chicken finna be. No, your chicken's finna be burnt.
I thought you were giving me the side eye, like, no. I don't use a cast iron when you know I do.
Oh, and baby girl, you know how to cook. Baby girl knows how to cook. Don't get it twisted.
A new method. The sous vide.
Ooh,
we gotta talk about that. The sous vide.
Yeah, she's on her A game. That's why I say she cooks, she cleans, she do it all. She work. She knows what it is.
I don't really clean. I let other people clean. Don't make the bed.
That's okay, Tar. You don't have to.
You don't have to make. I don't clean.
Well, you know what the saying is? I did watch. There was one of these little books I was reading. It said that people who make their beds every day do successful things for the day. So try that. I tried it. Even if you get up and just shake it out and throw it over the bed to make it look appealing.
To be fair, but I get out of bed first.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. You don't. Yeah. That's that. And that was one of my rules.
On the weekend, I don't get out of bed first.
Yeah.
And I don't make them.
And you don't make them.
But I do laundry.
I'm going to talk to the hubby about that.
Well,
There's going to be penalties for that. There's going to be penalties for not making the bed if you're the last one getting out of bed.
No, I don't.
So that was our rule too, is that the last person getting out of bed has to make the bed.
I don't load the dishwasher.
Ooh.
But I do when I cook though, I clean as I cook.
Oh, that's mandatory.
When he cooks,
no, there's none of that. You know, mine is working.
I just don't even work. So what I've learned in a relationship from not a relationship guru is I already know this is something I cannot change about him.
Yeah.
Is it a deal breaker? So I just say, I'm not going to go in the kitchen and look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just, because the kitchen's in the corner, so there's no reason I have to go look.
Right.
So I just pretend that's not happening.
It's not happening in there.
Yeah. But I'm really bad. I mean, I keep things clean. I do laundry. We did talk about I got to go to the laundromat because I'm really behind.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to do that on my next day off because I just can't keep caught up.
Nice.
You know, I keep toilet paper on the rolls. I straighten the shoes.
Yeah.
We do have someone come and help clean because we just don't work too many hours. So
yeah, well, that's different. That's different. There's stuff on you can afford to do that. You can do that because shit, there comes a time when we fucking tired. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm at that point.
It's worth it to sacrifice going out for a meal and then have someone clean.
Come and clean and do the hard stuff, the little detail work. I'm looking into that because I told the kids about that. I need to. You guys
It's really not that
and
much
they can
money.
split it up. $40, $50, $60 a month. One person comes in. You guys don't want to do it. You don't want to be mopping the floors down there on cleaning the floorboards and all that. So I'm gonna have somebody else do it. You're gonna pay them? Yep.
But I do cook.
Oh, that's different.
But I don't think, like, what if you're in a relationship and the man likes to cook and the woman can't cook? Then that's fine.
Yeah, then she cleans. If he cooks, I clean. There has to be some type of deal. It's all people think relationships are 50-50. Relationships are 100.
They're never 50-50.
They're not supposed to. But everybody puts in 100% each one. You know.
Well, no, everyone doesn't have the bandwidth to put 100% in all the time. So my belief is
no. Everybody has the ability to put 100% into your relationship at every time.
Well, I disagree.
Regardless, if it's not financial, it could be other ways. Just like a stay-at-home mom, like the husband goes out, makes the money, brings the money home, brings home the groceries, make sure everything is provided outside of the home. You know what I mean? And then he could make sure all her needs are met as far as that. When he comes home, then his needs should be met. The house should be clean, the kids should be organized, everything should be tidy. Things should be done. Dinner should be fed. As long as those bills are paid and he's taking care of everything and everything. Yeah, everybody has a 50-50 thing, 100%. And if that's her role, do that shit.
Well, I guess I'm saying it in a different way. What I'm saying is it's never going to be 50-50. It's always going to be someone's higher than the other.
No, I don't agree. I disagree with that. I don't know. And I guess that's where I should be a fucking guru because I disagree with that. I think everybody has a part to play in the relationship, regardless if it's a smaller.
I'm not saying everybody doesn't have a part to play.
No, I mean, but even 100%.
Everybody doesn't have the 100% to give it the time. They're not going to be 100% all the time. They're not going to be 50-50. The one thing is like, oh, a relationship is 50-50. Nah, it's not going to be like that. What if your man is sick? He ain't doing nothing. What if you're sick? I'm not saying in general, if you add it all together.
No, that's different. That's different. You mean you're talking on a daily basis?
I'm not talking about on a daily. I'm talking about in a relationship as a whole. A relationship as a whole, no one's going to be 50-50 at the same time. There's always going to be someone giving more and someone giving less because that's all they're capable of doing. So if some point during a relationship, for example, my husband's been studying for this test he has to take for his business, getting his business together, and he doesn't have the time to do other things, so I'm picking up the slack. And then there's other times where I have things that I'm doing, and he picks up the slack. We're never always, 50-50.
No, that is 50-50, baby girl. That's what I'm talking about. That's what being carrying each other as a family. You know what I mean? You pick up where you can and what you're doing. It's always going to be 100. It's 100 because things are getting done. Shit's getting done. You know what I mean? Moves are being made. The only time
are always being made.
That's what I'm saying. You feel me? Now you're getting it. It's always 100. Regardless, you may feel like, oh, well, I'm doing more right now because he's got this, he's tied up. That's still 100 because what he's doing is putting 100% into what's gonna help you financially, and you not have to work later. So he's doing his 100% part, right? And you're doing your 100% part too.
I don't do it
because that's what you do. You trust me. Don't let her discredit herself, you guys, because she's fucking amazing, and I love her. She does the damn thing.
Sometimes I watch TV all day,
and I be trying to be like her. Okay, I be trying to get it together like her, and I be like, Titi, God help me, to pray for me, say something.
I'm even worse. I'm like, can you get me a coffee? I don't want to get out of bed. I'm terrible sometimes.
But she makes shit happen, and I love that. That's what I respect about her, and I love how she does her business. So yeah, no.
But I think another thing that some of these relationship girls do is they don't like take accountability to what these men are doing. So yeah, okay, you make 6 figures, you make 7 figures, you do this, but what else are you doing?
What else are you doing?
Okay, you work out, you look good, and you bring home money, but everyone has problems. You don't get those taken care of.
Your mental taken care of.
What is to do all these things? One of those things that stupid Kevin Samuel.
Every time I hear his name, I'm just like.
Plus the fact that, dude, you're not even a 5 either. You want to start rating people. Like, I don't believe in rating people. Of course, we sit there and people are aesthetically pleasing to other people than they are another. But just like our last episode, and you're like, Nick Cannon's so cute, and I'm like, ugh, no, he's not. Or you know, we all have our different tastes. Like, you might think someone is totally charming and handsome, and I'm just like, not for me.
Not for me.
So like, there's someone for everyone. So when you're sitting there, I just think it's just so degrading for you to have a woman come on your show and have them tell you what they think their fucking number is. Yeah. Like, we can do that. We're allowed to do that about ourselves, but that's one of those things that you're not allowed to do, you dummy. Yeah. And then he's sitting there talking about, like, don't blame the guy for how they act. Blame yourself for not, your elders, your sisters, your aunties, or whoever's in your life for not giving you the correct information or not admitting their faults in the relationship, so you're following their bad advice. Like, homie, Everybody learns. We sit here all the time and tell our younger listeners, don't do what we did. Don't do this. Don't do that. Do I believe for 5 fucking minutes that anyone, they might be listening, but if they have it in their head, they're going to do what they want to do until they learn for themselves.
If you know better, you do better.
Exactly.
So the thing about that too, when you said that, I was thinking about a lot of the advice I got from my grandparents. And you know what? My grandmothers, as far as relationship, and they were spot on. And they took accountability for their shit, and when they're talking to me about what went wrong when I'm coming to them with a situation, and they'll be like, hey, I did this and that, and, it led to this. And, we worked it out. We had to go our way for whatever or separate for a little bit, but we brought it back together because I had to let myself go and realize what I had going on. So I think he's wrong with that as far as, because there are a lot of older women who don't talk about their stories, about the shit that they went through, the abuse and all that. But that's one of the things I loved about my grandparents, my grandmothers. They were very open. My mom too. My mom was a little more closed off than my grandmother. I felt like my grandmother gave a lot more than my mom does. She's like, she don't want to tell us about that stuff. We have to hear stuff from our aunts or whatever.
Like, what do you, do you want to sit there and admit to someone that like you got fucking hit?
No, but the thing about it is I don't know. I guess it's different. I talk to my kids. I'm open to them about all of that stuff. Sex, everything. Like there's nothing they can't come and talk to me about. And even if in situations, even with me and their father, I'd be like, yeah, I said this and that. Yep, I meant that. You know what I mean?
And the thing is this dude is not taking into the fact that, like, are the relationships that they're in is based on seeing the relationships that they had.
Yeah.
So it's like
they're different.
It's a cycle you have to get out of.
They're different
Number
relationships.
You have to get out of it. You have to learn for yourself. And it's like, and then it just says, it's like, man, don't blame us. I mean, it's
blame them. Blame your aunts
that
and
didn't
aunties.
teach you right. Yeah. And da 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 da. Like, who fucking taught you?
Right.
You're just a dude on the internet trying to make money by these poor women that are vulnerable and they're desperate for love because they just see the unrealistic expectations that are out there.
I would love to talk to his wife.
I don't know.
Or
is he married?
Girlfriend or baby mama.
Kevin Samuel?
Yeah, I would like to talk to anybody that he's fucking and see if he's a 10 or if they're going to be like, he's a strong 4.
Well, he seems to me to be such a narcissist that whoever he's with is sucked into the whole thing anyway. Or maybe it's just an entire persona. I mean, I get it. He could be just a persona to make money and stuff like that.
That could be. Yeah, he could be just a personality.
I just feel a lot of these relationship gurus are just predators who are promoting their product on what they say. Because I mean, if you're a young woman and you are having a hard time, whatever, getting a man, maybe it's your fault, maybe your expectations are too high, maybe whatever reason it is, and you're just like, you just want to be in love, you see it on TV, it's in the movies,
right?
You could be J-Lo wearing the wedding dress and everyone fighting for you, but that's just not realistic, and they prey on that fucking fact. They're like, oh, well, if you want a high quality dude, like you want a football player, or you want this guy that makes 6 figures, but at the end of the day, most of these relationships that these men are in are people they knew before they made 6 figures.
Exactly.
Most of the time. Or if they met someone, it's at their level playing field, because basically the people, if you look at any relationship that you've been in, is basically in the playing field in your atmosphere.
Yeah.
Unless you're online dating or something. But even still, I mean, you're not online dating someone like across the world unless you're the Tinder swindler or if that's what you want.
Tinder swindler.
I just feel like it's irresponsible for these men to be putting that information out. I just feel they're preying on young women's sensibilities and their vulnerabilities in order to make money. And I think it's a con.
I think it's a big con. I don't. That's why I don't listen to too many of them. There's, like I said, there's some
I usually don't. But
some stuff I just will, like, I'll come across it and I'll be like, what is he talking about? And I'll just listen just to hear him out. But some stuff, like I said, it makes sense. But it's just sometimes it's people's fucking delivery is what makes people uncomfortable with what they say. And he has a valid point about certain things, and
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying none of his points are valid. What I'm saying is he takes them.
Is it a gimmick?
It's a gimmick to twist in order, and like I just kind of like when you're on there, like, are you a 6 or a 7? Oh, if you're a 5, don't even have this conversation with me.
Right.
There's just no way it's going to happen.
Why are you even talking to me?
It's like you're degrading them enough,
right?
So you can try. Oh well, but I can make you a 7,
right?
Just buy this book.
It's kind of like the ways of pimping.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mold you in a different way. I'm gonna tell you. You tell me how you think you measure up, and I'm gonna tell you how I can make you better.
I'm gonna break you down, and then I'm gonna build you up type mentality. They're internet pimps.
Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking about. Wow. Internet pimps. That's a good one. Because I'm like, when I think about that, and when there's like they're trying to mold, you said molding you and kind of, and that's the way they do it now. Because the old pimping way is out. Now it's the new pimping way. I'm gonna pimp you. You got to have some money. You got to be able to give me all that I need. Because most of these guys are out there like that. They try to holler thinking that, I'm an older woman, of course, a little overweight, that all I want is some D. But you don't know what I'm working with. I got it already. But the thing about it is that they try to get into your mind like, oh, you want good sex? What you want? You want to go out? You want to get good head, girl? No, I don't want none of that shit. Because you're not giving it up really good anyway. But what you're trying to do is mold me into being what you feel like I should be so that you can gain.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're trying to mold us back into this where they wanted us, where they had us in a neat and tidy bow in the 50s. And it's just,
yeah.
And this is where they're like internet motivational speakers per se. Like the biggest freaking pimp game in the world is the relationship subject matter.
Yeah.
No matter you're woman, female, whatever race you are. I mean, it's the biggest gimmick in the world.
Yeah.
Everyone's putting out a relationship book. Hey, shit, maybe we will. But still,
she's gonna say,
but
relationship
still,
goals.
it's a game.
Right.
It's just what you believe.
Yeah.
And he's just speaking on his beliefs and what he wants. Like, talk to your fellas. Why don't you do a show where you talk to the fellas on how
guys,
to,
and how they measure up?
Yeah, and if you want a high quality woman, this is how you
gotta behave.
You should get her, instead of like, oh, this is how you spot him.
Right.
This is how you spot him.
If she don't got this, that, and that, ghost her. And then wonder why these women are sad and they're sick, and then they're stealing other women's men and all kinds of weird shit because they think that's all they could get and all they could do. That's deep.
Oh, it's your fault you lost your man.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't know you were going to lose your man? Yeah, most women know when a man's cheating, dude. Dumb. It's just you can't catch him. Every woman has that feeling.
Yep. It's a feeling. Yeah.
I don't know what to do with them.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm going to have to look more into some of these other ones that you have named here. Because I don't think I've ever heard of Matthew Hussey.
He's just like the English Caucasian version.
I like that.
He's not as bad, though. I think Kevin... I don't fucking remember his name. Kevin Samuel. I think his kind of MO is to break people down and be nasty and mean to them. Because that's kind of his character and that works for him.
That works for him.
And
it's easy
you know
to
what?
do.
If you're dumb enough to call him, you've watched it.
Right.
Like, don't think that you're going to call up and like change his MO. It doesn't matter what you say. He's going to find a way to insult you and make you feel bad about yourself. And what happened to all like bring these women up and do this or do that?
Yeah, right.
I mean, does he do this to the women in his life?
That's why I said I'm curious to who's in his, if he has daughters, sisters, like what, and does he tell them that? I'm curious. That's some shit. Yeah, that's to be continued. I'm gonna find out.
And I don't know why Derrick Jaxn is still even on the internet and people are even listening to him. I just kind of reviewed some of his videos because he was the one I knew that he had cheated on his wife.
And got caught up.
And I was looking at his video count, and it's still in the hundreds of thousands. Don't get me wrong, but it just
because his previous accolades were cool. But
I feel like
its
what? Numbers have gone down. I'm sure he's still making money. He's still talking about like get away from these toxic men, this and that. Like this is why he's doing it. Type. He has a different kind of route to get to the same thing than the other one does. But I wish, I guess, at this point he would change his. Maybe I'm wrong because I haven't seen it and I haven't really looked that far down to find it. More like moving on from cheating.
Right.
What did I need to do better? Like, what does my relationship look like now? Like, how do I change what I was doing? Because obviously I was saying I was doing all these things, but then I was with another woman.
Right. So what led me to that point?
Yeah, I think I would have more respect for him if he just kind of changed his
avenue.
Trust me, there's as many women that don't have men. There's just the same number of women and men that have been cheated on.
Yeah.
And I think he could just do better going in that direction. He thinks he held himself accountable by doing the apology thing. He just kind of came off narcissistic.
Yeah.
But I mean, he did it. But I mean, it was all for show. But I just kind of wish people would focus and not prey on these poor young women. Don't listen to these relationship gurus, women. Get yourself a good book from a licensed therapist. Like I said before, if you work at most employers have an employment assistant program where you can get 10 free counseling sessions. Now, is that a lot? It's usually per year. No, it's not a lot.
It helps.
But trust me, they get into the nitty gritty.
Real quick. You know, I would like to hear more from men like Fantasia's husband, where people have him misunderstood about what they were talking about being submissive.
Well, she said that though.
Right, but they did something together. That's why I said I want to hear where he explained what she said, and then he explained why she was saying that. And I love that. I wish I had saved it. If I find it again, I thought I saved it.
It'll be easily found.
I'll find it.
I remember.
Yeah.
I think it's because they use words that like rub people the wrong way. Like if Jay was to be like, why can't you more submissive? I'd be like,
right. Well, the thing about people think submissive differently. That's they don't know the definition and real definition of submissive. And then his definition of how he explained it totally made sense. And I was like, I love you. Can you talk to my husband? So it was just those types of things that I want to hear from those men. If there's any of those men out there who believe in submission, but it's the way that Fantasia's husband talks about it, where it's saying that he doesn't give her a reason to not be submissive. And submissive doesn't mean that you have to do everything I say. Submissive meaning that whatever our decisions are, you come and talk to me about it, and I will talk together about it. And you give me your whole opinion, I listen to it, and then ultimately we'll make the decision together. But whatever decision I made as a man is what we go with. You know what I mean? And you just have to know that at least you told me, and you leave it in my hands to be like that.
And I don't know if this is the same thing, but my husband was like it. And I've said this before, it took me a long time. Like, it's a really hard pill to swallow when your woman, wife, whatever, makes more money than you. Mm-hmm. He says it's not a bad thing. It's good for me. But mentally inside, like, we can't handle that, whether it's buried way deep in our head or even if it's on the surface. And he said it took me a long time to get over that, pounding my chest, like he even, caveman shit over that. When it's something that you can't really control.
Right.
Like, you can control it. You can get another job and get paid less. That's dumb.
And dummy down, right?
But at the same time, he's getting to the point where his business is about to take off and I can cut my hours.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll still make more money than you by the rate. But like you're
allowing me to be able to do what I need to do.
But I think that's a lot of things. I think that men are just not used to women not only being independent, but we're going to college, we're making more money, we're becoming less
needy and dependent.
Because I always try to teach my kids, my girls, I'm like, don't depend on a man. And I say it for men too. Don't depend on someone else, especially if your relationship is not stable. Because
it's bad. It's horrible.
If you want to leave because you're being treated a certain way, you're stuck. There's nothing worse than feeling stuck in something you don't want to be in.
Yep.
And I think that's why a lot of these men are just like
Instagram and Facebook. Let us know if you guys are out there and you believe in that submissive. But you got to explain your reasoning, and it has to be right for us to hear it, because I want to know.
But also with these shows, they have these women come on that are co-signing what they're saying.
Yeah.
And I have my own show. And yes, ladies, you should do this and you should do that. This is how I get my man. And it's just
right.
I don't even know if I can't stand them even more.
Yeah.
They're worse. You're against your own people. You're against the female race. The female chromosome. You should like, I don't know.
That's hilarious. Yeah, there are those women I'd be like, really? You really think that this is
But
okay
they come on these shows with him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, see, she's doing what we say.
Yeah. And look at her. She's got her a man.
There's no blueprint that's the same for every relationship.
It's not.
In your relationship, in order to be successful, you have to make your own blueprint.
Yeah, you do. And I believe that. That's like I was telling my husband, like, when people get married, they think that they go off the blueprint of what they've seen in their life and their parents and their relationships and their cousins and stuff. But I was like, what's wrong with doing your own blueprint? You make your relationship what you want it to be. You write it out. You say, hey, this is what we need to do. And you do it together. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that should be done during dating. Because if you don't have a blueprint, you're going to go off of what you see, what you know, and each person is going to go off of their experience with each one of their sides. So the shit, when you come and putting it together, it may not work. It is about doing your own blueprint together when you're trying to be with somebody. I love that shit.
And don't let other people worry about what your blueprint is.
Yeah, and what your blueprint might not work for everybody. Just like all these corporations. A lot of corporations, they start off with these blueprints, right? But then certain ones take different avenues or do different things, and it works for them. Some don't. And some of them will be like, oh, let's try it like this, and it doesn't work. So it just depends. You pick up a blueprint, you change it. Just like if you pick up the blueprint from your parents, your grandparents, you still have the right to change that shit. Whatever you didn't like in that relationship that you saw, change that shit and make it what it is for you. Same with raising your kids. Same with raising your children out here. You can still use the blueprint of your parents, but there's nothing wrong with changing some shit up and trying something new. You never know where you go.
Well, when you build a building, the first blueprint usually has to be changed because the government says that's not to code.
Thank you.
We should write a book. The relationship blueprint.
Can I drop the mic? Okay. That was deep.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that you should find someone that you look up to and you like how their relationship looks, even though we all know behind closed doors, you never know what's happening.
Nothing's perfect.
Everyone knows somewhere in their lives where you're like, damn, that's the relationship I want to be in. And maybe talk to them. The internet's good for great information.
Yeah.
How to unclog a sink. You know?
How to open a car door.
How to do this. How to cook a steak. It's a great place for information, but I just think that it's a very slippery slope.
When it comes to relationships, definitely.
On the internet with these peddlers. They're basically, what were those people called back in the day? Witch doctors or whatever.
Yeah, kind of like that.
I just think
they matchmakers and stuff like that. They had those back in the days where they go and do all these little tests on you and say, okay, you're matched with him, you're a perfect item, that type of thing. Or if you do this differently, you won't ever get one. Like Milan, you know, when she went to the match, they went to the matchmaker. And the matchmaker's like, you'll never find a suitable.
Okay, look, I don't know what else to say about these relationship witch doctors.
I would just say, hey, steer clear. You know, listen to them, hear what they have to say, analyze this shit. Because take pieces.
Take pieces.
Don't just solely go on that and think this is the way it is, because you don't know what kind of fucking relationship they have too at home, you know, and what they're going through. And if you talk to the other side, they probably gonna say, oh, shrimpy. Yeah, he got money. He's nice, but he's a shrimp.
Well, that's another thing that's part of the blueprint is your sexual compatibility.
Right, all that.
I am a firm believer in sex before marriage. I mean, if you're not compatible, that's a huge, huge, huge thing.
Unless you're virgins, then you don't know what to compare it to.
That's true.
That's the only other thing.
I mean, I can't go over what religion says.
No, that has nothing to do with religion. That's a simple.
A lot of it does. A lot of it does.
Well, that part is a simple mind thing. Like if you get with somebody who's a virgin and you're a virgin and that's what you guys are doing, look for that. And there's nothing wrong with that because they don't have anything to compare you to, like, and you don't have anything to compare them to. So that
it's like that's a lot of that comes from religion when they're like, keep your virginity to your husband.
That's true too. But if it makes sense though, like shit, that would cut down a lot of cheating. Wouldn't happen like that.
My point
if
is,
they didn't have that.
What if you get with someone that wants to have butt sex all the time and you don't want to? That's going to be a huge problem.
Well, no, you got to talk about it. Like, hey, do you like butt sex?
Exactly. Me and my husband had that exact discussion. Right. We addressed what.
Yeah, we did too.
I mean,
my husband did too.
Of course, things change.
Right.
And whatever you're going to do, but if I'm like, no, this is not what I want to do, or this is what I want to do, and you don't want to do it. Right. Are we going to be able to, is that a deal breaker? Is
that going to be a problem later? Because you got everything else under. Some things you can work with, some things you can't. Yeah. And if I want butt sex all day, hey, no, I want butt sex. I'm sorry.
Can we tell who doesn't like the
butt sex? No. Anyway, but I totally agree. I think that like you said, just relationships in general, like everything needs to be talked about these days. There's so much stuff, and that's why relationships go back. Because then later on in life, you'll be like, oh, I always wanted this. Well, how come you never said that shit?
There is a lot of reputable marriage counselors and psychologists and stuff, counselors that do have YouTube channels. Yeah. That really are just putting out information about communication and trauma and all that type of stuff. They're not necessarily doing lives, having people call in and asking them to rate themselves. I don't think that any reputable relationship counselor or therapist would ever ask someone to rate their looks.
Yeah. The fuck out of here.
I mean, obviously,
maybe what you have going on for yourself, what you're trying to achieve, your 5-year plan, even your 10-year plan, but not how you look and how you measure up,
how you feel about yourself. Whatever. Yeah. So I don't think.
And then to tell somebody, okay, so great. Now that you think you're a 10, no, you bitch, you're really a 6. Yeah. A strong 4.
Oh, like, and you were a stripper, you'll never come back from
that. Huh? Like, I
mean, that's what the other thing you said. Oh, you're a stripper. Oh yeah, forget it. Why are you even on here? It's just like, there's so many different conversations about that. I don't think there's like many women that are stripping that actually wanted to do that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But that's a whole conversation.
Whole nother level.
That could be a whole episode.
Put a pin there for the booty shakers.
I just wish you let women live. I want to do that episode, Stay Out of Our Uterus. I really want to talk about everything. I have one of my favorite YouTubers is, her name's Bailey Sarian. Oh. And she does true crime. Yeah. But she does a murder mystery makeup Monday, and then she does other things but she's kind of she's one of those girls like Kat Von D with tattoos everywhere. Right. But she's fucking gorgeous.
I've seen her.
She's kind of funny. And we'd already been talking, just to let you know, Barely, Bailey. We'd already been talking about doing this episode, but she put another spin in it for me. She does a whole episode on the pre-tampon, post-tampon era and about menstruation.
Nice.
And it's really fascinating. It's if you look her up, it's one of the latest episodes. And it's basically what our episode is about. Stay out the fuck out our uterus.
Oh, we need to talk about that because there's a lot of little signs on the pads and stuff that I had no clue about. A lot of these bitches out here where I work at, I'm sorry, that's my rant. The fuck? Yeah, we definitely need to talk about that. Because the menstrual...
Were they disposed?
Yes! The fuck? Who's teaching these people out here? So yeah, I'm just me and my daughter. First day I ran into the altercation in the bathroom at the garbage. I had to sit down with my daughter because I said I refused for you to walk out the fucking bathroom and leave anything like this for anybody else. I took pictures and everything to show her because I wanted her to understand. Bloody massacre. And
I think maybe that will be the next one we record.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
but
go
it's
over
not just
some
about
shit.
menstruation. It's about our bodies.
All of that.
It's about
everything.
birth control.
Birth
it's
control,
about
everything. All that shit.
everything. Like what can we do with our tits? Man, why can't you walk outside with your shirt off, but we can't?
Yeah, I want to walk outside with my shirt
I do too. It's hot sometimes, especially out here in Killer Kelly. Yeah, and some of you guys, because we have breasts, we can't go outside with a shirt off. There's some of you guys with man boobs, you should
still be out there without
take your shirt off
God
either.
Damn it!
Is it?
I
think
haven't
that should
seen
be
some.
Next episode.
I haven't seen some titties on some of these men out here for real. Like, really?
Yeah, bigger than mine.
Really?
They have surgeries.
Yeah, I was like about to say.
To reduce those too. They just call it something different, but it's the same thing.
Yeah, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's all those dudes that were on roids.
Yeah, those ones in that muscle shrinks.
The muscle and plus it was the estrogen or whatever. I don't know how it works. It fucks up all the hormones. I don't know exactly how, but that's why their balls. Their balls shrinking. Oh, everything shrinks. Oh, those steroid dicks.
We'll talk about that on Stay Out My Uterus.
No, we're not.
I'm just playing.
Stay out our uterus. We're not going to talk about that. Dicks stay out our uterus.
Only about the Uty.
The fruity Uty. All right, everybody, our backs are hurting. It's
my
hard
ass
to
is
say.
hurting. I got all these juices and booty.
Your ass is hurting. I told you.
It's all these berries coming out the side of the chair. Oh, thank you guys for tuning in. We love you. Okay. Love our listeners. Thank you so much. Keep downloading.
Keep reviewing. Keep sending us messages. Make sure you come and subscribe to our Instagram and Facebook where we put little previews, little snippets of what's to come. Really no bad reviews yet. I'm waiting.
I love that.
Well, we have mostly 5s on Apple, and one person gave us a 4.
What?
How dare you?
I know who that was. We know who it was.
Don't tell me.
No, we know who it was. He's always talking crap, so I know it had to be him to give us a low rating.
Well, at least
he wants it.
No, well, it wasn't a low rating. It was like basically like I'm not going to give you a 5 out of principle.
Yeah,
rating.
exactly that part. We know who you are, JP.
All right, everybody. Always a pleasure. Always a what's the word? Lucky to be able to do this. Not everybody has the opportunity to do this, and we love being out here. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Yeah, she gonna say it. Yeah, she one of a kind. She speak what she got on her mind. Yeah, she gonna say it. Yeah, she let her say it. Yeah, she gonna say it. Yeah, she gonna say it. Yeah.
Josh on the